Hi Taurus, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your August 2021 love reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, that's what I call the bridge and the gap spread. And the way it works is we'll look at the past energies, present energies, and future energies between you and your main love interest. Once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side we have the Tarot Sexual Magic. And also, while I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's, if you feel like it's the other way around in your connection, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have Fortune, which is the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter energy, and Triumph, which is the equivalent to the World card, Saturn energy. So, to see these two cards come up, I feel like this is saying in the past you might have just been having memories about this person. So I feel like this is someone you had a history with at one point, but there was probably a disconnect between the two of you at some point as well. So I feel like with this, I feel like this is saying that you guys might have been, maybe you, for example, heard some songs that reminded you of this person, right? Whether you guys used to listen to them together or just something in the lyrics made you think of them. That's what I'm kind of getting there. And that kind of sparked the desire in you to want to reconnect with this person. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm seeing there. All right, and past energy on their side, we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. So this is actually Gemini energy. So I'm getting a few things from this. Could just be saying that in the past, if they might have been a bit controlling with communication, I feel like this is saying that they moved out of that energy now. Now, for others of you, this could just be saying as well, maybe it was the retrograde, Mercury retrograde during Gemini season that had you thinking about this person again and possibly reaching out to them. And lastly, if that's the case, I would say if you did reach out to them and didn't hear anything back, it's possible that they actually never received that message, which is another thing that Mercury retrograde is famous for, right? You think you send it to the right number or whatever, and then it ends up not getting there. So that could have been what was at play there in the past. All right. In the present position on your side, we have Grace. So this is actually the equivalent of the star card in traditional tarot, which is Aquarius energy. So at the time of recording this, we've pretty much just had the first full moon in Aquarius, and there's actually going to be a second one toward the very end of Leo season. So definitely some significance around Aquarius energy this month. But could just be saying again, I feel like the passion is still there for you. It's possible maybe this person was going through something too, and maybe that's what that Knight of Swords in reverse is about. Because I see here, obviously, with the artwork, it's like pulling someone out of the fire, right? So if this represents your energy, I feel like, you might have just had the desire to reach out to them in the past, but now you might actually be doing it. And maybe when you reconnected, you found out that they might have been going through something. Maybe they got out of a bad relationship, for example. That could be what that's pointing to in the past there, too. But, yeah, this could be pointing, like I said, to the full moon we just had, or possibly the one that we'll get toward the end of Leo season, as far as timelines go. Present energy on their side, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is actually the court card for Taurus. So for some of you, this could totally be your energy on the right. But at the same time, what I feel like this is saying there is it looks like you guys are clearly the ones putting in more of the effort toward the connection. So if this is representing your energy here and this is their energy, that feminine energy in the card, could just be saying that, they're slowly opening up. And that could be what that Knight of Swords is saying too for some of you. That this person's just really slow as far as opening up goes. So maybe you had this vision, right, with that fortune and triumph, like, oh, this person could totally be the one. But then this person just seems like they're really slow opening up. So that could be what it is there. So I feel like there's the openness, but at the same time, the openness to hear you out, but at the same time moving really slow within the connection. All right, and in the future position on your side, we have Power, which is the equivalent to the Emperor, Aries energy, and King of Cups, which is the equivalent to the court card for Scorpio. So interesting mixture here. Seeing these two cards come up, what comes to my mind first is saying that you guys actually do have that potential to become a power couple, right? To turn this into something more solid. But for some of you, could just be saying it might take until we get into Scorpio season. So, late October, maybe early November. But that's what stands out to me with that. So it could just be saying, you might have to be a little bit patient with them, but it does have the potential to gain traction for sure. All right. And future energy on their side, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So again, more Taurus energy. So yeah, it could either be that this is totally your energy on the right and this is the other person on the left. But if not, if nothing else, this is saying that they're clearly focusing on you a lot. They're putting a lot of thought toward you. Um, Seven of Pentacles in traditional tarot, we see the guy is in a field and it looks like he's contemplating if he wants to continue to work toward what he's doing. But here, it looks like a much different vibe, right? The two people are together, they're just relaxing together. So, to me, again, this is pointing to what I was feeling on this person's side in general, which is to say that they seem to be a bit slow toward opening up. And interestingly enough, you have major arcana cards in each of the three positions, but in the future position, we see you go from that major arcana to a court card. So it could be as simple as this, where it could just be saying, on one hand, you might have had like really lofty expectations for the connection from the beginning, whereas this person was just moving super slow. So I feel like you guys are gradually getting more toward being on the same page because we see them, okay, they're slowly opening up. And then for you, with all the major arcana, then we see the King of Cups, which is still a pretty intense energy, but it's lower than the major arcana. So it could just be saying you guys are gradually meeting each other. Like you were way up here and then they were down there, and you guys are slowly meeting in the middle. That's what I'm primarily picking up on with that. All right, bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Ace of Cups. So yeah, same thing. It looks like you definitely have a vision for this connection, right? The desire to turn it into something more formal. Beneath that, we see the Justice card, which is Libra energy, which often points to relationship. So it definitely looks like you see that balance potential forward in the connection anyway. Now, bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here. And usually it's considered the slowest moving of all the knights, but at the same time pretty stable too. So again, this just goes to show that the same thing that I was feeling with the energy here in general, which is to say that they could just be really slow movers when it comes to relationships, possibly even because they did get out of a bad relationship in the past, because I was saying it looks like there you might have been helping with their healing process in some way. So that could be part of why they're slow to get into a connection, or it could just be their vibe in general, even if there wasn't a bad relationship in the past. But yeah, it looks like slow movement. And to me, this points to saying that during Virgo season, given that this is the card for Virgo, you'll probably see the momentum picking up quite a bit. So, just have to be a little bit patient. And then, like I said, if that's the case, you might see that forward movement by Virgo season, which technically starts toward the end of August. So it doesn't necessarily mean it won't be this month, but just might be a few weeks. And then by the time we get to Scorpio season, you might actually see it turn into something even more solid than that. And interestingly enough, they also have the sun beneath this. So it definitely looks like they do have the desire. I feel like this is just primarily you're just dealing with someone who moves slow. And like I said, to be fair, given all the Taurus energy and just Earth energy in general we see on the side, this could totally be you, and this might be another person who's pursuing you, and you feel like they're moving a little too fast, but that's what I'm getting there. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we'll see if we get anything from Aqua Moonlight deck. And I did pre-shuffle this deck, but I'm just looking for jumpers here, looking for unspoken messages from you to them and from them to you. If I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, we'll move on to the next Oracle deck, but occasionally we get extra messages here. Okay, got two. And next we'll see if we get any from them to you. All right, got one. So let's look on your side first. We have embarrassed, All right, and it won't focus. There we go. It says, I know I've acted childishly. I don't know how to approach you now. Interesting. I don't see where that would have come from necessarily. I do see, like I said, for sure with the past energy, um, the desire on your part. In a way, it's interesting because I was saying for some of you, this might be your energy on the right. Because I was going to say, if anything, I might see that as the energy here, the Knight of Swords in reverse. I could see that as potentially coming across as a bit childish too, if it manifested in a more negative way. So, for those of you, if you resonate more with the right side, that could definitely be pointing to that. The second one, you have obligations. It says, I want to get away from the burdens I have to deal with, but I'm stuck right now. So, interesting message there too. Uh, for some of you, if that's the case, I would feel like this might be more of the past thing there, where we do see the triumph, which is to say, maybe you guys just had a lot of focus on career, especially with Saturn being in your house of career and social status, which is Aquarius. So, could just be pointing to that. But hopefully that resonated with you. And then on their side, we have no strings. It says, I want you close to me, but I'm not ready for a commitment. So that definitely seems to match what I was feeling with this in general, which is to say, like I said, it seems like they're really slow opening up. So if you do want it to turn into something more long term, which does appear to be the case on the left side, like I said, by the time we get through Virgo season, you'll probably see it picking up momentum in that direction. But then it might really take until Scorpio season before you feel like it's really something solid. So this could definitely be where they're at now, and that might explain, why you see that reluctance on their part if you're coming toward them. But looks like they will gradually warm up. So hopefully that resonated with you. And lastly, we'll pull a card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. Same situation as far as I pre-shuffled this one as well, but we're just looking for one card here and we'll wrap up. Alright, so nothing's coming up there, but what I'll do is we'll put the deck down and just give me a few seconds to tune in and we'll pull a card. Okay. Go with this here. Alright, we have Deep Knowing. There's the artwork and the number is 43. Interesting just seeing those words, Deep Knowing, because that made me think of what I was saying there, where it looks like in the past you might have just felt instantly like, oh, okay, this could totally be the one, where, like I said, for this person, it looks like they were really just a lot slower to open up to the idea of the connection than you. So maybe that's what that's pointing to, but we'll see what the actual book says for that card. Okay, it says intuition, listening to the oracle within, empathy, hypersensitivity. The oracle's message. Intuition is the faculty that allows you to enter into a dialogue with Source, the consciousness that you are a part of but cannot see with the naked eye. It's perplexing that people are taught to ignore this natural capacity to navigate their journeys, to access their inner guidance. Know that you have an ability to read between the lines and find all the truth that was missing when the story was told. This deep knowing allows you to open the door to wisdom far greater than what is available in the limitations of human experience. You are given information that may make no sense whatsoever to the logical mind or five senses, but which is 100% correct and true. The trick is to listen and then to act accordingly. You're now invited into the sacred dialogue of deep knowing, so tune in and trust your vibes. They will be right. Ask and you will receive answers from unusual sources. So definitely an interesting message there. And I will say the part about ask and you will receive answers from unusual sources, And well, just that whole message in general actually makes me think of the fact that the Leo new moon coming up in August is actually going to be pretty intense. It's going to be square Uranus, which is in your sign. So you might get some intuitive hits around that time. So keep an eye out for that. The relationship message says there are occasions when you just know, deep in your heart and soul, that a person is going to play a meaningful role in your life. Someone crosses your path and suddenly, out of the blue, you're connected at a level impossible to describe. That feeling marks a moment in time etched indelibly onto your soul. Someone has entered your life who will be instrumental in your journey, so pay attention. Two hearts are calling in to each other to begin an alchemical process. This is also a sign that your intuition about the person you care about is correct. Trust your heart to lead you now. Magic is about to happen. So interesting message there, especially when I mentioned the part about hearts calling out to each other to begin an alchemical process, because like I said, it seemed like you guys, in a way, they're super slow to open up toward the connection where it seemed like you were really all in and then you're still all in, but I feel like you're, lowering it down to a more practical level at this point. So I feel like that could be the energy the two of you are exchanging, to get to that equal level. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.